my channel. Welcome back to another video. I'm Messy Jessie and you're watching. Welcome to my TBR cards / Asian readathon vlog. I am so freaking excited about all of the books that I'm going to be reading this month in May in celebration of AAPI month. Cannot freaking wait. So I want to kick off this video with talking about what books I'm reading for which of my TBR cards, and also what books I'm reading for what prompts for the Asian readathon. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So for my Get Graphic card to read a comic book, I selected A Map to the Sun. This is by Sloan Leong, and this is about two girls who are best friends and then they break up in their friendship and are forced back together when they both join the same basketball team. And both of these girls play to win. I could not figure out why this art style was so home and comforty to me, other than the fact that I love Jen Bartel, and this is very Jen Bartel-esque, but it reminded me of the art for Prism Stalker. And lo and behold, it's the same freaking author. And Prism Stalker is just, it's everything. I adore that comic. So I cannot wait to get into my second comic by this author. I'm also reading this book for the prompt of read a book with an Asian protagonist for the Asian readathon. And this author is multiracial. She is Hawaiian, Mexican, Indigenous, and she has another ethnicity within the AAPI umbrella that is just slipping my mind right now. Chinese. Then for the read a book by an Asian author prompt, I am reading The Splendor of Silence, which is by an Indian author. I am also reading this book for the Bharat card, which is to read a book set in India. I specifically purchased this book for that prompt and I'm very excited about it. I also was very excited about it because the cover caught my eye immediately. I'm gay and I love a good historical fiction story. So this book is set in 1942 and we are following a young woman named Mila who lives a life of luxury and privilege. She lives in Readathon with her father and their lives are turned upside down when a handsome, mysterious soldier named Sam stumbles into their lives and steals Mila's heart. But Sam is actually on a mission to discover the whereabouts of his brother who has recently gone missing. He is actually lying about his identity. I started this book yesterday and I'm already on page 108. And for the prompt of read a book in your favorite genre, I selected Jade City. This of course is the sequel, but
my copy of Jade City is out in the living room.
And I forget which TBR card I'm reading Jade City for. Was it Start a New Series? I can't remember. I'm very excited about that. So some other books that you are likely going to see me read or possibly see me read throughout the course of this vlog is 9 Fox Gambit. I chose this book for the Black Girl Magic card, read a science fiction book with a Black protagonist. And just because it is AAPI month and I pulled this card, I am changing Black to Asian. So this is why I picked this science fiction book about a mathematician who is desperate to win a battle. And so she unleashes this brilliant undead tactician who has never lost a battle in his life, except, you know, he killed his entire army because he went mad. And I'm really excited about this book. Also on my TBR for this month is The Last Story of Mina Lee, and I chose this book for the La Frontera card, centering an undocumented person or immigration. I chose an extra card from my deck because when I pulled the Get Graphic card, I didn't have a book that had a neurodiverse protagonist with an Asian protagonist. So I just decided to read a graphic novel with an Asian protagonist and then to pull an extra card since I wasn't completely fulfilling that prompt. And La Frontera was the extra card that I chose. This book centers around immigration because we are following Mina, who is a war orphan from Korea who moved to America and had a child there. We are following both Mina and her child, Margot, and the story opens up with Mina's death under mysterious circumstances, and Margot is trying to figure out what happened to her mother. Then for the Spoonie card, read a book with a mentally and or physically disabled protagonist, I selected Disability Visibility, which is a collection of first-person stories from disabled folks. And I'm so freaking excited to read this book. And the last book that you you will likely see me reading in this vlog is Arsenic and Adobo. This book is about a Filipina named Lila who moves from Chicago back to her small hometown in order to help out her struggling tita with her failing restaurant. But when she moves back to this town, her ex-boyfriend, who is a very well-known local critic and was hypercritical of this restaurant, is poisoned. But when her ex-boyfriend, who is a large critic of the restaurant, turns up dead, she and her family become the #1 suspects, and this book is about her having to find the killer before the killer finds her first. I have started Arsenic. This book is so funny, y'all. I have been dying. I have been absolutely dying. And also the food, I have been salivating, y'all. Just hungry. I'm 70 pages into this book and I have a lot of thoughts. So I'm gonna give my thoughts on the first 70 pages because I just need to get them out before I forget. First of all, the complexities between Lila and her aunties is so relatable to the relationship that I have with my tias. Even though this family is Filipino and mine is Mexican, I just see so much similarity and it makes me feel so at home. And it goes without saying that the descriptions of food is wonderful, but I also really love how this food is showing the ways that these individuals are grounded to each other because of their ancestral cooking. And there is a scene of Lila standing up for her grandmother when a cop to insert himself into her kitchen. And this scene of Lila just standing up for her grandmother and protecting her, literally putting her body between herself and the police officer, it just made my heart swell and it made me so endeared to her character. I love seeing the way that she stands up for the women in her life, and it is really establishing this theme of the way that Filipinos are treated by police and the historic relationship there, which I just really appreciate that theme being explored in this book. And it's really heavy hitting. Plus there is this will they, won't they romance, which I like, and I really appreciate that. There's a lesbian bestie and the vibrant cast of characters just really feels real. Let me know if you've read this or are reading it and if you feel that the characters kind of zing at you off the page, because they definitely do for me. And it is very rare in a contemporary book where I feel that the characters are real, but their banter is very believable. And I also want to make it clear that this is a contemporary mystery thriller. We'll get into the thriller aspects of this book later because I have a lot of thoughts on the thriller aspect too. It addresses fat phobia. It is insanely readable. And I love how our protagonist uses makeup to feel powerful and to put her game face on. And I got the sense that it was cultural, that the author was intentionally touching on the role that makeup plays in the lives of some Filipinas. Filipinx descended folks, please comment down below and let me know if that is a theme that is accurate or if I'm just making that up in my head. And I feel like I already know who the killer is. I feel that the killer is very obvious at this point in the story, but I hope that I'm wrong. I really hope that I'm wrong. I'm going to enjoy it regardless. So that is what I'm going to give for an update now. I'm not going to talk about these books yet, but I have started them and I am truly loving both of these books. I'll talk about them in a later clip. I want some food. But I'm on page 109 of this one, and I'm on page 131 in this one. So that's gonna do it for this clip, and I will check in with y'all later. I don't even know what to say right now. I was having a really beautiful morning and I texted one of my best friends and she just got back to me and was like, hey, can't hang out. I'm headed to St. Louis because both of my brothers died. I wish that there was something that I could do to lift this pain from her and her family. I'm sorry. It's not about me and I should not be crying, but like, that text just broke my fucking heart, and I am so heartbroken for her and her family and for those young men. So I asked what I can do, and she let me know that there is a fundraiser that she is running for both of their funerals, and I donated everything that I could, and I shared it on my Instagram and my Twitter, and I'm also going to leave the info down here if you are moved and want to donate as well. Please share. That would mean so much to her and also to me. But I'm gonna take a break and just get some food and spend some time with the doggy because I cannot read after hearing that news. And I just wish that I could be there for her. I wish I could fly to St. Louis to be there for her, but she, you know, wants to just be surrounded by her family right now, which I totally get. Later on today, when I'm less depressed, I am going to give a comprehensive midpoint review of A Map to the Sun. I stayed up until 4 in the morning reading that comic. I cried. I have so many thoughts. I'm about to film a dedicated review, and I very rarely film dedicated reviews. It's something I want to do more on this channel. I've never felt so moved by a graphic novel that I had to film a dedicated review.
So that's coming.
All I can say at this point right now is to please order a copy. Just order it. Look up trigger warnings, and also I will share the trigger warnings later on in this vlog. You know, if you have triggers, maybe just wait until the rest of this video before deciding. But this is easily top 5 graphic novels I've ever read in my life, and I'm not even done with it yet. It feels like a book with pictures. It feels exactly like reading a novel, and sorry, I spaced out because I'm really sad. So I am going to go do that, and I will check in with y'all later. Go get it. Go get it.
Her name is Bernadette, and she's a Leonberger.
Oh my God, I love you. Please be with me forever and always. Hi, look at you. Bernadette, come love me. Hi, yes, I love you too. Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, look at her little face. Hello, my lovelies. It is currently almost midnight, and I am 282 páginas into The Splendor of Silence. I have very little, about 100 pages left of this book. I think that the writing is so beautiful, and I am thrilled that I read this book, that I'm reading this book, because I've already learned so much about India that I did not know. I am loving these beautiful, eloquent clapbacks against racism that this book is boasting, and all of the feminism, the politics and dynamics between Indian folk and the British colonizers, and the struggle to get British presence removed from Indian land. It's fantastic. The romance,
I simply don't care about. I do not care
at all in the slightest, but I am tolerating it because I am learning so much. I love the writing, and I also am really enjoying Sam, being on this secret covert mission to rescue his brother and to find out if his brother is even still alive. So this book is going very well. Today was beautiful. We actually spent 3 hours at the dog park, and she was exercising herself, running, playing with pups the entire time. So I just couldn't say no to her. We stayed, I read, I got a bunch of this book done. I did a little Instagram Q&A, but I'm gonna read more of this book and see how much farther I can get before I crash. I'm really, really tired. And I got home from the dog park around 5 o'clock, and then Starla and I video chatted for like 2.5, 3 hours, and I did some planning on videos and I've been reading. So today's just been a really low-key, wonderful, chill, productive, but easygoing day. And I've been very happy about it, and I can't wait to go to bed. I'm so tired. So I am going to end this clip here, and I will see y'all tomorrow.
I have said it before, and I'll say it again. I want freckles so bad. I actually have one freckle right here, and I darken it sometimes so that it will show up in videos. But this freckle is my friend, and I've named it. So guess in the comment section down below what I named my freckle.
What is up, y'all? It is next day. I woke up around 10. No, I woke up at 9:30 and I had an allergy injection scheduled at 10:15. And while I was in the lobby waiting, because you have to hang out for a half hour after getting your allergy injection to make sure that you don't have an anaphylactic reaction. So while I was doing that, hanging out, and I started reading Jade City. So good. And then I went to a workout class, had another half-hour break between my workout and my yoga class. So I was reading Jade City in the yoga studio, and it was such a mistake to start that book and then go to class, because during my second class, all I could think about was Jade City. All I could think about was how good the book is and how literally the only thing I want to be doing is reading it. Hilo is so cool. I am very intrigued by his character, and I'm only in chapter 3, and already I am completely and utterly hooked. But also, I am thinking tonight that I need to do a pedicure because my toes were looking scurry. They were cawing at me every time I did a down dog. They were ashy and they just look jacked up. I felt like at any moment I was gonna turn and see a whole flock of birds sitting on the windowsill ready to welcome me into the murder. Okay, they were like, oh, here's one of our brethren, they are returning, let me take you under my wing. My toes look rough, so I need to do an impromptu pedicure today at home. But I am on my way home. I'm gonna stop at Trader Joe's to get butter because I really am craving some toast, and I'm gonna take the doggy to the dog park and keep binge reading Jade City. Akasha, why are you up there? Get back in here. You big troublemaker. You big troublemaker. Yes, you stinker. Look at this plant and herb and veggie haul, y'all. I'm so excited. Still love Hilo, but he is not as strategic as his brother Lan, who I like way more. Now that we're getting more into Lan's character, I definitely have more respect for Lan than I do for Hilo, even though I really enjoy them both. I also am very much enjoying the sister. What is her name? Starts with an S, I believe. Shay. Shay is enjoyable as well. Akasha just brought me a ball. But I'm definitely not as attached to her character. However, I just read on page 140 this part of her backstory that I feel is likely a big part of the reason why she fled the family. And that whole thing with Doru and her friend when she was younger is so disgusting. I already didn't like the weatherman, and now I detest him, and I can't wait for his hopefully timely demise. But I am very much enjoying this book. I love the way that it just throws you into the world. I don't know if I said that already, but I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna okay. It's fetch time. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna make them as they are.
Okay. Yeah. What's her name?
Cosette.
Cosette. Oh my gosh, of course it is. Your little French kitty. Yeah.
She's
Let's get
from
you a
Leb-
beret.
She's from Lebanon.
You're Lebanese. Oh, am I getting nibbled?
Yeah.
Nibbles. Does that mean she likes it or is she mad at me?
I can't tell. I think
Okay.
it means she likes it, but you have to just tell her.
Oh,
"No,
yeah.
baby."
I like the nibbles. Yes, you give me nibs. You give me nibs. Yes. You give me nibs. Yes. Who's a good kitty? Oh, yes. Yes. There you go. There's a good kitty. Are you waiting for me? Yeah?
This won't take long.
All right, pups. I'm coming. I'm coming. Yeah. If I look and sound miserable, it's because I am. My allergies are literally killing me. But I wanted to give an update on the book. Loving it still. And I don't trust Wen. Hilo and Wen are cute, and I love that Wen's character shows the complexities of Hilo's character. And I think that Wen is smart and cunning and resourceful. But I don't trust her. She seems way too eager to help in with the operations. I'm skeptical. The tightness in his chest hadn't gone away, even after he'd stopped running. He wished he could make himself cry to release some of the pressure, like lifting the top off a boiling kettle. Okay, look, I am the pressure. I am the person crying on Anden's behalf because I'm so worried about Lan and what he's going through right now. Him resorting to certain things in order to boost himself, if you know what I'm saying. I'm all emotional, I think, because of my allergies, and the reason why my tongue is purple is because I'm drinking wine, because that's the only thing that helps when my allergies are acting up. But I also feel like Lan's struggle is very symbolic of what men go through in society and how men have to present as strong and powerful and are never allowed to be weak and soft. And I'm in my feels, and I don't want Lan to suffer because he's my baby. My baby. This is the face of someone who went through and was editing their footage for this vlog and found out that a bunch of the clips didn't have audio. I'm begging for help. I'm screaming for help. All I know is pain. Here we are again.
Here we are again.
I originally had updated and told y'all that I completed Splendor of Silence. I'm going to look up some Own Voices reviews before making my final rating. But as of right now, my preliminary rating is a 3 out of 5 stars. Still enjoyed the story. I still learned so much. It talked a lot about the occupation of India. It talked a lot about caste, and I loved all the feminist themes. The writing was gorgeous. There's so much about this book that I really did dig and enjoy. But I know that once I put this down, I am not going to be able to recall the details at a later date. A lot of it just didn't stick. I am going to be keeping an eye out for this author because I'm hoping that she will come out with some new books in the future. She's also written other books, and I am going to seek those books out as well. Very, very excited. So since I talked at length about A Map to the Sun, which is this graphic novel about 5 girls who are just complete misfits. They all have struggles and trials and tribulations of their own while also trying to be friends. They all get in trouble and are forced to start this girls basketball team that is led by this over-enthusiastic teacher who believes in them. So very 90s, early 2000s lost cause trope where a bunch of misfit kids are like forced to join a sports team and then get in for more than they bargained for, and it's just feel good but also rough and gritty and real. I filmed a dedicated review for this and I described it as being Euphoria meets basketball.
And that's exactly what it is.
It's amazing. It's by one of my favorite illustrators. It is so good. So definitely stay tuned for that dedicated review. Obviously, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars.
What else could I possibly have given it?
I cannot with this book because it is just, oh my God, did you hear my voice crack?
What's happening?
Puberty is coming for me. This book is one that I absolutely flew through because I enjoyed it so much. And I loved that you can read this kind of on the surface value as just like a cozy, intense mystery, or you can look at how all of these themes impact Filipino life. If you're not looking closely, it can be easy to miss all of the history and the cultural elements of this book. So definitely check out Own Voice's reviews. I ended up giving this 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. There were some very complex, intricate twists that there was no way I could have seen coming. Some things surprised me, absolutely. Others didn't. I still can't stand the best friend. That is my biggest criticism for this book. And I'm trying to figure out how to talk about this without giving a spoiler. But the best friend is, throughout the book, is trying to pressure and low-key bully Lila into doing something that the best friend wants to do. And the best friend keeps saying like, but this is our dream. It's our dream. We always said we would do this, etc., as if dreams aren't allowed to change. And that theme of pressuring continued throughout the book. And I just thought it was trash. And the best friend would give Lila the cold shoulder because she didn't want to do or wasn't ready to do the thing that the best friend wanted her to do. I can't stand that. Peer pressure. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's not okay. And it was just not seen as a big deal in the book at all. Now, this is the start in a series. I hope that this series is 10 books long because that's how many books I want from this author following these characters. I really, really had a blast, but I do hope that that gets addressed later on in the books because it really annoyed me. Before giving my thoughts on Jade City and the last story of Mina Lee, I am going to show off some things that I acquired recently. As y'all know, I am a big fan of all things vintage, so I went to my favorite vintage store because they were having a sale. This first one is art of Frida Kahlo. Look how gorgeous, stunning this is. I cannot wait to find a place for this in my home. And then there is this really beautiful handcrafted, candle holder. I'm going to use this as a little jewelry tray though, because y'all know I love my earrings and my little accessories. I love to stack them. Then I picked up a season 1 collector's edition of Stranger Things, and it is on a freaking video cassette. It is VHS. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I guess that they are reselling this from Target. So let me know if any of you have seen this at Target. If you haven't, I am a Stranger Things fan and I am saving this either for myself or to gift to a friend who is a really big Stranger Things fan. I love getting things for friends to gift in the future, if that makes sense. But I really just want to have this for myself. So we will see what the fate of this is. A key was such an obvious symbol, yet sometimes the truth was always there, right in front of your face, until you were ready to swallow its shape and all its edges, until you knew you were strong enough to bear its weight. How did we measure what we had left? Not in days or years for Mina, but with what strength remained. Maybe that's what she had been doing this entire time, hardening herself for the truth. Some questions were never meant to be answered, yet ideally pursuing them might at least shed light on how much you valued yourself, the need you might have to tell your own story, however fragmented it might be. It was okay to yearn for the impossible every now and then, as long as in the yearning, you discovered something about yourself. I'm going to start off this micro review by saying that I proudly gave Mina Lee 5 out of 5 stars. This author could drop their grocery lists and I would read them hungrily. I believe that this is my favorite of the Book of the Month picks. I cannot beg y'all to read this book enough. It is a fantastic portraiture of grief and the divide, the gulf between first generation children and their parents. It is a beautiful celebration of what it means to be Korean with gorgeous themes of water and the beach, and it is absolutely stunning. I really enjoyed the mystery. I think a lot of non-Asian and Western reviewers are going to miss the mystery and the thrilling elements that exist within this book. But my heart was pounding. And I also really loved that Margot is not afraid to be abrasive and to defy stereotypes of what AAPI women are supposed to be and act like. And I love that she's given that space to be kind of an angry, grieving Asian girl. On top of that, this is just the most phenomenal, gorgeous, stunning writing that I have read in a long time. This debut author, she can get it. And by she can get it, I mean she can get all my money. All of my money, honey. I beg you to read this. I did shed a few tears. If you are looking for a tearjerker, you can just stop right now. If any of you are planning to film like books that made me cry videos, this is one that you should add to your TBR. I just loved it. I'm going to wrap this video up by discussing Jade City. Again, I am so mad that my reaction clips didn't have audio. Rude. Before I get into that, I want to show off this amazing bouquet that was sent to me by this company called Rose Forever. So you can get these bouquets in either a square or a circular box, and I was like, yo, please can I have a circular box so that I can live my best Parisian wannabe life? And then the bouquets have different colors. There's like baby blue, baby pink, red, etc. And I wanted something to go with kind of my neutral wood warm toned home, and I chose one of their pink rose sets, and this is what the roses look like. So freaking stunning. So when I opened, I just scratched the crap out of my face. When I opened this box, I was not prepared for the volume of the fragrance. You know, a freshly cut bouquet of roses, that is exactly what these smell like. And so what this company does is they use great care and craft to harvest only the most best and beautiful, deliciously fragrant roses. And then they treat those roses with preservatives that will allow this bouquet to last for a year. So you literally don't have to water them. You don't have to put flower food in them, nothing at all. I tend to keep mine covered overnight and such because I just want them to last as long as possible. Whenever you want to enjoy that beautiful rose scent in your home or just to see gorgeous roses, you just leave it uncovered and the smell will permeate your home and it's freaking beautiful. Those of you who've been following me for a while probably know that I buy flowers sporadically for myself, and my number one gripe about buying these flowers is that they die within a week and they're expensive, right? Roses are so expensive. So I have a awesome discount code. I will leave that linked down below. Definitely make sure you're following this company because they just did a Mother's Day sale and they do different sales to make this even more affordable. This is not sponsored, by the way. They just sent me these to see what I thought of them, and I'm absolutely in love. I know for a fact that once these expire, I'm going to be purchasing my own, just because as an earth sign, having flowers in my house means a lot to me. Having plants and flowers and herbs, things like that are so important to me. Rose oil is something that I use for my own aromatherapy. My close friends know that when I'm super anxious, I'm wearing rose oil, and I will frequently show up to brunch, show up to the function in my big sunglasses and my protective jacket smelling of rose oil when I'm super anxious. And so a lot of times since I've gotten this bouquet, I have opened it and then just sniffed it just for the aromatherapy benefits. Oh my god, it smells so good. If you are a person who likes to purchase flowers, but you are tired of spending $20 on a beautiful bouquet that's going to die in a week, this is a much, much, much cheaper alternative. So again, I will leave more information about the company linked down below. Huge thank you to Rose Forever for thinking of me and sending me what is probably one of my favorite gifts that I've ever received. Okay, so let's wrap up this video by talking about Jade City, you know, the star of the show.
This is a great example as to why you should never get attached to a character in fantasy. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I have gotten over my distrust for Wen. Now I think that she's a bad bitch, she's a ride or die, and I love her. That might come to bite me in the booty later on. We'll see. But I think she's good. I think she's great for Hilo. I do ship them. I think, honestly, that they balance each other really well. She can be Hilo's romantic mate, and then I can be Hilo's platonic mate. I can be his wingman, you know, and preferably he'll teach me how to do martial arts, and then we can F some ish up together. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to take on the Mountain Clan. As you can see, I annotated and highlighted this book really diligently for, you know, pretty much the first half of the book. And then I just got so gripped by the story that for the rest of it, there were no annotations, there were no stickies. I did emphasize a few things, okay. But for the most part, I just couldn't put this book down. I couldn't even be bothered to take notes and annotate. You know what I mean? And that rarely happens for me because I simply love the act of highlighting, marking, annotating, putting down tabs. That is very enjoyable to me. So I'll have to go back and do that at some point. And I do intend on filming a dedicated review for this book and Jade War. I cannot express enough how much I love Hilo's character. I think his character work is stunning. He presents as one way in the beginning of the book. And then even by 75% of the way through, I think a lot of those assumptions that the reader, very rightfully so, made about him are challenged. We see him grow and expand while still remaining who he is. And I don't know. I just really love Hilo. I want to make a video about him. I adore him. Okay. I really like the female forward sex scenes in this book. And I'm not really one for sex scenes at all. I did enjoy the representation of like female pleasure being centered in those scenes. I thought the fight scenes were really cool. I'm excited to learn more about deflection and perception. And I'm sure we'll get into more details on how those things work in the next two books. Cannot wait for the trilogy to complete this year. So I'm definitely going to read Jade War sooner rather than later. 5 out of 5 stars. So that is going to do it for this video. If you made it this far in the video, why don't you comment down below with a rose emoji or type rose because of this beautiful bouquet.
That keeps me from unraveling at the seams.
If you want more content from me, you can follow me on my Instagram, which is bowtiesandbooks, but all of my social media links will be in the description box below. Stay safe, wear a mask, and I hope to see you in my next video.